I'm just going to give a little testimony about one of my amazing experiences in Thailand, and there's been many of them. But in May 2006, there was a historical celebration specifically for the King of Thailand. They were celebrating him reigning as a king for 60 years. He is the longest reigning king in world history, period. And the Thai people worship him. And it's something that we in America do not have a clue about. So I've been in Thailand for almost 6 months or so. It's May 2006. I'm in Pattaya. Pattaya is known as the Hell Beach of Bangkok. It's the ocean part that you can go about 2.5 hours southeast of Bangkok. Thank you, honey. Good directions. I just thank God for my wife. Next month we're going to celebrate 20 years together. God showed me the holy woman she's going to become. Only by His mercy and His grace we're together. Again, despite myself. Okay, where's that? Oh, okay, the King of Thailand. So there's a big thing going on in Bangkok. I'm in Pattaya, so everything's cool. Bangkok's a zoo because royalty from all over the world, Africa, England, Saudi Arabia, you name it, anybody that's royalty is in Bangkok. It's an amazing time. But I'm in Pattaya. So I'm actually in one of our Marriott malls. It's a big mall, it's just a big mall. And I'm in there in the Sony store looking at a camcorder hard drive because that's what I've got to do. And a lady boy is helping me because lady boys speak English really well, and that's another story. So I'm there trying to figure the Sony thing out, and the lady boy comes up behind me very gently and grabs my arm and says, come on, let's go see the king. And I'm like, okay, the king's in Bangkok, we're in Pattaya. And he goes, no, let's go see the king. And so everyone in the mall is going to the big screen TVs, state place, so they can watch the king on TV. Now, this is like the pivotal point of this celebration. Thailand has 5 TV stations, and every TV station is broadcasting and covering this event. Now, I'll tell you, this is just electricity through all Thailand and Thai people is just at super high level. And guess what the king's going to do? He's going to wave his hand. All he's going to do is say hi. That's all he's going to do. And this picture that I have, you can come up later and look at it more. It's the #1 picture in Thailand. Almost everyone has it in their house. It is the #1 picture. I didn't know this. I didn't know what he's going to do. And so, you know, I'm standing in front of the big screen TVs, and the whole mall shut down. The whole mall stopped to see this event. And another reason this is a real important event too is that the king actually had a stroke about 2 years earlier, and so he hasn't been doing his kingly things. You know, I mean, every week I think they have something for him to do, and he hasn't done it in almost 2 years because he can't move. And he's been trying to get up his strength and his health back so he can do this on his own. And so the Thai people heard that he was going to do it on his own, which is, you know, I know it's nothing to us, but it's a big deal to them. So I'm in front of the big screen TV, and I'm like, wow, everyone's stopping. The whole mall shut down to watch this event. And they're filming this king like it's a Super Bowl highlight. They got cameras 20, 50, 100 yards out. And the king is at one of his palaces that has a big balcony, and it's like Disneyland. And I'm already I'm in the small world after all. I don't have no clue what's going on. So they're filming it, and then they film Bangkok, and it's just a sea of people. No traffic, because there's so many people squeezed into Bangkok. And they're all wearing yellow shirts, which shows royalty, and it's just going on. So I'm watching this, and I'm like, wow, this is a big deal. And so the lady boy grabs me, and he goes, look, I got goosebumps in my arms. The king is going to wave and say hi to us.
Wow.
What's wrong with you, man? Your king has never said hi to you before. And so he starts crying. And all the Thai people around me start crying. And I'm like, well, and then what killed me is the senior Thai people. They show it on TV, and also around me, they get down and they show a high Y, which again, we did a medium respect, but they show a high Y and they put their hands way above their head. And this word in Thai doesn't even exist in the English language. It's a worship word that you're doing to your king and showing him respect, and you're begging him to reign over your life. You're begging him to take full control over your life. And I didn't learn this until this other foreigner was explaining this to me, thinking about it. And so the old people get down and start doing that, and they start crying. They won't even look at the king. And I'm just crying. I don't know why I'm crying. Everyone's around is crying. All the foreigners crying. We don't even know why we're crying. And I'm just like, again, I'm like in Disneyland. What the heck is going on? These guys are worshiping this king. And then the Holy Spirit talks to me. You know, he shows up at times like that. And he said, hey, Doc, you see how these guys are worshiping their king? Yeah, I don't have a clue. And I don't know why I'm crying. And yes, I see him, I worship their king. Do you worship the King of Kings? Like these guys worship their king. I say I do. I tell people I do, but I don't have a clue. So since May 2006, I've been trying to worship the King of Kings like the Thai people have taught me. I went there to minister to them, right? God does that. You go to minister to somebody, you get ministered to. But, again, we're a work in progress, right? So God talked to me again in May 2009. I had some issues. And God revealed to me that a lot of my works and my Christianity was to cover up my shame. It was to cover up my shame. And now when I look at some really powerful men of God, like doing a lot for God, I question, is that guy just doing the same thing I was doing? Just working to cover up your shame.